Look, I'm trying to do a video here. Do you mind? What are you doing? Hey everyone, what's the crack? Lawrence here with the SimLab XP-1 LC 3-pedal set. Is the very first SimLab product that I'm ever reviewing on the channel. Let's do this. Okay, so I have this box kind of on its side because they only have an image of the product on the very top of the box, which is interesting. So I would have expected maybe the logo on the top and maybe the image at the front. So I know very much what to expect here because I've actually used these pedals at the sim racing expos and stuff. So I do know what to expect, but it's the first time that I'll have them on my rig. So, oh, that's nicely presented. Wow, okay, that's pretty cool. So I haven't had this experience, this consumer experience where you get to see how the pedals are presented, what they look like. They look quite large, probably larger than I would have kind of remembered them. The black edition is lovely though. Not that I was against the, the blue or whatever, but that black looks really nice. Let's pull all three of them out because I think this is pretty straightforward. So we get quite a lot of goodies with this. There's some little rubber spacers in here. This is the control module. That's just made out of plastic. It's got a little Ethernet style ports on there. It's very light. Something fell there. Some adjustments. So we've got some large springs, smaller springs, and there's a little spacer in there as well. We've got lots of T-slot nuts and bolts. We've got some more here as well. Okay, so they're separate bag for the clutch. So XP-1 LC and the clutch kit as well. So these bags aren't labeled. There's a spring system here. And we've got some elastomers as well. And it says on the elastomers what their shore strength or shore value is. And we've got a load of those cables that I mentioned before. And USB cable. It's just a simple USB-A to USB-C. So we'll put those off to the side just for now because we don't need those right now. And let's have a look at the pedal set. So I changed the order of these. So there we go. And I've upped the brightness of my lights a little bit because black products tend to be quite difficult to showcase. But with this lighting, it should be quite easy to see. These slots are quite nice, gives you a lot of adjustment in the forward and back. What we often tend to see at the kind of mid to, I guess, lower to mid range is that we don't have the adjustability back and forward. So even though these are quite competitively priced, we have that back and forward, which is absolutely essential if you want to do the likes of heel toe, where you want to still be able to reach the throttle when you are already hard on the brake. You might want to do some heel toe. Now, the shape of the pedals, we'll have to see how this actually performs with heel toe, and pressing these things on the bench doesn't really do much. It doesn't prove anything, even though everybody does it. We've got some hand adjustments here. So we can raise and lower the pedal faces as well, ever so slightly. And we've got what is most likely just the ability to change the maybe the pedal throw or the stopper on how far the pedal travels. So I'm not going to adjust that right now because I like to run pedals, especially in the exact factory settings. With wheelbases, I would use their factory profiles and stuff, but we can see if we look at the front of these, we can see that these are already kind of spaced differently. Now, we don't often see adjustability like this on a brake pedal. Usually that's kind of controlled by the elastomer stack and that, but we can see the spring mechanism in here on the brake, and we've got one single elastomer on there. This does look like it might be a toolless adjustment. We'll have to figure that out as we go along. For the first impressions video, I will not be adjusting those unless I feel they need significant adjustment. Generally, I can get a very good feel for how the pedals are going to perform. What we see here as well is we've got the ability to raise and lower these where the arm actually meets. Now there's another one down here which is interesting. I wonder if that's for a damper, because it seems to be a different size hole, so I'm not sure what that one's for, so we'll just keep an eye on that. Every one of the pedals has it, and here the clutch, we can see there's kind of a little bit of a cantilever mechanism, so when you press this down, that actually raises up, so we can see there's a little bit of movement there. But on the bench, just to show what I'm talking about, when we push the clutch in, we can see that it moves. Now there's quite a bit of weight on that, so I'm not going to push it any further, but that's pretty cool. We've got the spring in there that we saw a replacement for, an alternative for, that we can install. Other than that, nothing really to say. We've got little SimLab branding on the pedal faces as well, which I think is quite nice, and subtle branding on the side as well. That is lasered in there, which is nice. It's not a sticker. Some we see that they have stickers. We've got little washers, or what are they called? Little surrounds around these bolts, which is also another nice touch. They are very, very nicely finished. They're not like, I guess they feel like good quality. They don't feel like the most absolute superb thing in the world, but at the same time, you know, they're pedals, you know, you don't really need them to be super duper light, or, you know, to feel beautiful or whatever. So, you know, and I don't want to talk them down either, because they are extremely, extremely nice. They just may not be to the level of some of the competitors, but that's completely irrelevant. What I'm also after noticing here is a little bit of adjustment in the pedal face. So that'll be interesting to see how much variation you can get there, but they already seem to be at quite a decent angle, so I'm mad excited about getting these on the rig. I've been wanting these for a long time. I did have a 2 pedal set, but then I said no, I really want to try that clutch as well, because most people would be interested in that clutch, especially people who are interested in my channel. I do a lot of H pattern driving, and I've reviewed a lot of 3 pedal sets. So let's get them on the rig and let's put them through their paces. So here we are in the rig. I've got them mounted. Just after realizing I have them a little bit too close to me. Just closer than I'd like, because my knees are just below the steering wheel here. You can probably just see that on the recording there. My knees are just a little bit too close to the wheel, and the wheel is just a little far away from me. I prefer it to be just that little bit closer, but it should be fine for getting a feel of the pedals and that. Just pressing them a little bit here. And the throttle is nice. I would probably prefer it to be just that little bit heavier, but it seems pretty okay. The clutch has a nice short throw. Not a hugely defined bite point on it, but it's fine. And then the brake, that feels very, very promising. So There's no real clear kind of two-stage thing that a lot of brakes have. Or is there? I'm just trying it with both feet because sometimes I brake with my right foot, sometimes with my left. So there's an initial part which you use for trail braking. It kind of picks up the slack. Yeah, and then there is a harder wall. So I guess there are two stages, but it's a nice progression, it seems. Yeah, interesting. And one of the things that I love about individual pedals like this, there's something that I love and there's something that I really don't like about it. So what I love is that you might see that my throttle is slightly beyond my brake here. That means when I'm braking hard, I can still heel toe really nicely here. I can just hit the throttle slightly, just give it that little blip. Hey Splat, say hi to the camera. Look, say hi. I'm trying to do a video here. Do you mind? What are you doing? So yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, it allows me to blip the throttle quite nicely. Now, I would like if the shape of the throttle face was a little bit, I like those long throttle plates. I don't know if they do a long throttle plate. So that's the thing that I like about this. What I don't like, now they do a very nice looking base plate. I've not used it, but it looks really nice. It has a seat slider on it and everything. So that one, and it's not crazy money. It's like €170. But for me, the way that I use my rig, that would be quite useful. So that base plate, I can't imagine it being bad. I've used lots of SimLab products in the past. And I think actually the seat slider that I have on this very rig is also SimLab. So that's good. It means though that I didn't get a heel plate with this. Now luckily my ASR Pro rig has this heel plate, which I wasn't too sure about because I usually have pedal sets with base plates on them. You can probably see in the background, they all have base plates. And when I get individual pedals, I usually end up using one of the base plates off another pedal set. But this, with the ASR Pro rig, is actually very, very comfy. It's nice. It's like the floor of my rig, and it's a nice adjustable base plate, so I can adjust this whatever way I like. So yeah, first like visual impressions and just how it feels. There's nothing loose or rattly, or there's no play. I can't wait to take it for a drive. I'm just going grabbing the race director software here. Okay, so in the software, you have to manually select what devices are connected, which is unusual. You see most of them just auto detecting the software. So let's click the pedals. An icon appears on the left. Okay, and we can see the pedal inputs here. So the brake seems to be set very, very low, because you can see I'm at 100% input here, but I can press a lot more than that. I even just moved something on my heel plate. I can tighten all that up later, but I need to calibrate this for sure. So press this, press it nice and hard there. Slight little bit of drop off, is there? Or maybe just at the very end. Yeah, there seems to be just the slightest bit of drop off when I do go. Yeah, there's drop off there for sure. So I'm pressing hard, I'm keeping it pressed, but it seems to drop off just ever so slightly. You can see that happening there. And I don't think that's my foot. I'm gonna have to investigate that further, but there seems to be a bit of drop off. We saw that with the Simagics as well, and that was because of just the way that pedal set worked. So just finish the calibration here, and we need some dead zone at the bottom. So let's just, I don't know, put in 5% at the bottom, confirm. Yeah, that's all right. Okay. Yeah, that seems okay. So let's try just to get it to like 90%. Yeah, it's okay. It's smooth enough. There does seem to be just the tiniest little bit of drop off. So let's hop in game. You can see how sensitive the throttle is here as well. It's on that throttle, and that is flickering all over the place. That's interesting as well. And the clutch. Also a little bit of flickering. But I don't think that's anything to worry about, to be honest. But we'll see when we get in game. Okay, so we're in the car here. This is one of the most difficult cars to control. You really need good pedals for this. So you get a good set. You can see on screen what my pedal inputs are. The green is the throttle, red is the brake, and we won't be using the clutch for now. Clutches in sim racing are pretty simple, so it doesn't really matter how well it performs in game, a clutch. It kind of just matters how it feels to you, and usually once you get to about 50% clutch press in Assetto Corsa, it just engages the clutch. It's a very kind of a binary thing. So it feels good to modulate as well, though. Like for drifting or rally, you don't really need to take too much notice of it. For those starts, you really want to see if you can like hold it at 60-70%, exactly like I'm doing right now, which I'm confident in. So I won't be going through the clutch in detail in this, but I will be keeping an eye on the other pedals. This is the first big braking zone. Oh yes. Okay, so I've just come from very mid-range pedal sets, the Simagic P1000, the Moza CRPs. Now before that I had the Simtrex, and you can imagine they're very top end. Going to the others, there was a lot of adjustment needed, and I really judge pedals by how they come out of the box. And even though I have used these pedals before at trade shows, like at the Sim Racing Expo, I don't think they felt like this. So it's always, it's different. When you get it on your rig, it's always very different. This is like a well set up Invicta so far, just the brake. It's a lovely hard brake. And that's just the default. There are, you know, adjustments. You can adjust this. Well, Invicta might be saying a bit much, because the Invicta you really need to put a lot of pressure on that Invicta. Maybe like a very well set up Forte pedal, and I'm just using those as an example because people seem to know quite a lot about those and how they feel. But if we were to compare to like Heusenfeld Sprints, for example, they'd be similar to the Sprints. I don't know. I don't know. Are they better than the Sprints? I haven't used the Sprints in a while, so maybe that's not a fair comparison. And I know that they've changed elastomers. God, that feels great. It really feels good. So I'll give you an example. As we're going up the straight here, if I slam the brakes, this thing just locks up. Okay, so this has a very, very sensitive brake. So when we go into these braking zones, and especially the hairpin that's coming up, so this one is pretty okay, but the hairpin that's coming up, it's so easy to lock up because it's off camber and it's a late kind of a braking zone. Oh, see, that's great. So what happened there was I braked really hard and was able to just keep it on the edge of that lockup. You might have seen that I actually slowed sooner than I thought I would, even though I went at my usual brake marker. Now maybe I didn't carry the speed through the chicane, I'm not sure, but instantly, lads, these pedals are just on my rig, and instantly I'm able to, you know, find pace, find those apexes. Let's really send it in anger here. I've no worries about the throttle leader. Oh, lads. Yeah, this is what I want from a brake set. It's very, very simple. I want no arsing about. I want to be able to talk to the camera. I want to be able to control the throttle through a corner like that. Oh, I'm going to enjoy these. I'm going to enjoy these over the coming weeks. I really am. Because I've had to do so much setting up with the P1000s and the CRP2s before that. I've had to do so much setting up just to be competitive in my league races that these are already set up. It's great. Are they the best pedals in the world? No, but as far as default setup from the factory, this is excellent. Like, this is... So that was just my poor driving, missing that apex here. I'm trying to think of things, trying to think of reasons not to buy this. It really feels excellent. Now, I don't know if they've watched my videos and if they've set them up differently for me, but when I used these at expos, they were a lot spongier and they just did not feel as nice as this at all. God, I've got confidence on it. I can really be confident. I want to try GT3 again, because I've been struggling with GT3 recently, just being smooth on the inputs. And those of you who watch my videos regularly will see that I can be quite cautious when driving, because I always use this car on this track. I can be quite cautious, but I'm absolutely sending this. Like, I don't even think I need to talk. These are surprisingly good, guys. Surprisingly good. Yeah, surprising. So, first impressions, super positive. Now, I am coming from a mid-range set of pedals, so these are probably more high-end. I guess they're €700 without a base plate. With including the base plate, we're talking close to €900. So they are on the expensive side, but they're also not, you know, the craziest, most expensive pedals. I expected a lot. SimLab always been renowned for just simple build quality, and I think I placed them above the Sprints. I think, and feel free to ask in the comments below, because I can't compare them to absolutely everything just offhand. But my first impressions here have been super solid. I'm genuinely excited about them. I love that I can heel toe. So if I'm driving along like this, first, second, third, and I need to go back down to second, I can brake hard and still hit that throttle very easily without hurting my foot. As you can see, I'm not even wearing racing shoes here. I am wearing sim socks, but they don't offer any like lateral protection on your foot. They just give a little bit of extra grip. So I'll use socks, I use sim socks, and I use shoes in all my pedals reviews. So can't wait to try these with shoes as well. But what's very important here, and it's something that I always look out for, is a brake usable even with socks? Because I mean, socks is the comfortable thing, right? Sim racers are just creatures of comfort, and you saw me drive there with socks. Everything went really well. Could I do it for a 2-hour stint? I'll have to try with shoes and all that and see how it compares. But I think I could, to be honest, because even though I'm putting quite a lot of force on there, whatever it is about the movement of the pedal, it all feels quite nice. So €700, that's for these, the black edition. If you get the non-black edition, they're $650. And that's the 3-pedal set. If you go for the 2-pedal set, I'll just have to look it up here though. The 2-pedal set is €500. So if you only want 2 pedals, €500, that's pretty appealing. I would recommend getting the clutch though. Like, I think any sim racer who just wants to enjoy the potential of driving other cars, trying different styles, rally, drifting and all that, I think people should have a clutch. That's very opinionated of me, but I like having a clutch. Now, for some people, it's just not worth it. So feel free to take that with a pinch of salt. I think having a clutch, even if you're racing mainly GT3s, is a good thing. These pedals are great. I can't find... Okay, they're quite wide. When I was installing them, you have to put the T-slot nuts. You know the way there's like a hole on one side of the T-slot nut and the ball bearing on the other? I had to place them in such a way that the ball bearing wasn't on the outside of the pedal. Because if I did that for, like, let's say the throttle here, and the ball bearing was on the outside of where it actually bolts, and here the ball bearing was on the outside of where it bolts, there would be space between the pedals. These pedals, as they're on my rig right now, they're right up against each other. So pedal spacing is pretty good as it stands. But if people like their pedals, I guess you wouldn't really want them closer together than what I have right now. But yeah, those I had to take the pedals off the rig again, flip around those T-slot nuts and put them back in because the pedals are super wide. Now, as a result of that as well, you get a lot of stability because you can put them right up against each other, which means they're going to be perfectly parallel. Finally, the little box that the control box is a little flimsy. It's plasticky. Now, it's light. It doesn't really have to be aesthetically pleasing or anything like that. It's just a little bit meh compared to the rest of the product. Would be nice if that was metal, but at the same time, it really doesn't need to be. You get a choice of cables with it as well, so you can mount that control box further away or closer. I have the shortest cables, and I just have it mounted in behind my pedal set. I'm happy with these guys. If anybody's on the fence or thinking of these, I can't imagine, unless one of them falls apart over the next couple of weeks, I can't imagine anything in my long-term review being particularly surprising or negative about these, because I'm super impressed. I think this pedal set is developed by people who sim race very competitively. Feels like a competitive grade set of pedals. They're not hobby pedals. I think they are all made with a certain amount, I don't know, of thought and function. Now, that can be said for most pedal brands, so don't get me wrong, but I really think that they've just landed on the mark. For me, this is on the mark. They feel, I love the way they come assembled. I love the way they're easy to mount, and I love the way they feel out of the box. I will be using all the different configurations and stuff, but hand on heart, if I got nothing with this, no springs, nothing else, I would be delighted. And I would still probably just say, yeah, go out and buy them, because there's nothing that I would want to change at this moment. Over time, different cars driving different disciplines, I might change my mind, but for now, these are class. I'll be using these every Tuesday and Thursday on all my streams at 9 o'clock UK and Irish time. For now, I'm Lawrence, and I'll chat to you later.